Last time we looked at how to copy resources within a preset and then manipulate that to create a new preset of your own. This time we're going to take that to its ultimate conclusion and talk about combining presets. With the new firmware, we have the feature, if you have an upgraded continuum, to automatically combine them. We're going to take a look at that now, but also later we'll see how can you combine presets if you don't have an expanded continuum, and that's certainly possible, though you might have some limited number of presets you can do this with, as opposed to the other technique of copying within a preset that we talked about last time. So let's first go. I have an expanded continuum here, and I have 3 presets that I've loaded into my 16 possibilities up here. Wind Beach, which is this nice preset that gives you a wind sound and a beach sound. If we can see, it's a pretty simple preset. Noise, as you can see on the first line here, is just injected into a set of filters to get one of the sounds and into a big bank to get the other. And not surprisingly, we have 2 outputs here. If I take one away, that sounds like the beach, and if I add the other one in, that's obviously the wind. So we kind of know what's going on there, and that's controlled, by the way, by Y. I have 2 of them here, and if we just take a look at what's going on here, and one of them, it comes in full, and then as Y goes to the top, it goes away, and on the other one, it comes in on 0, so nothing's coming in, and then as you move to the top of Y, then it increases, and that's how this preset works. At the bottom of Y, you get the one sound kind of combining in and moving to the other at the top of Y. Alright, so we have Wind Beach. I thought, well, what goes good with wind and the beach? Birds. And there's a nice bird whistler preset that, again, you can see is very simple. It's just a sine spray that's controlled and output directly with a shape generator that controls, obviously, the speed of the bird call. Alright, we have a second preset. Now we have a pterodactyl. Maybe this is a really old preset that we're working on here. I don't even know what this is. Well, I have no experience with pterodactyls to know how correct that is, but obviously here we have an oscillator that is being output on one of the set of outputs, and then there's a Harman that is being output on the other, and obviously some filters are being applied here. But I chose that pretty much just so that you can hear 3 things being played together. With the new group function of CCE combination mode, if you have an expanded continuum, you can combine up to 3 presets this way. All you have to do is select the first of the 3 that you want to combine. So I want to combine the Wind Beach, Bird Whistler, and Pterodactyl, and I will simply select Wind Beach, CCE combination. It groups them together, and now when I play, I get a real concoction, but you can kind of hear that pterodactyl. I can hear the wind and the beach, and I can hear the birds. Obviously, this kind of technique can become a little bit overbearing. You can do a few things to make it easier to deal with, however. When I combine 3 presets like this, I likely don't maybe always want them all playing at the same time, and even if they're playing at the same time, I likely don't want them all playing at the same amplitude, right, the same volume. It's very easy to do something that will allow you to cut these in increments. For example, let's say we'll keep the wind and the beach as the bass sound, but I want to cut the birds in as I need them. Well, a simple way to take care of that is to use a volume multiplier. We'll take a free formula, V. We'll use that as a volume multiplier. We'll attach that to a barrel. Barrel 2 equals bird volume. Okay, and we'll use barrel type 4, which I know goes none to full. That applies pretty well. I'll take my formula. I'll make sure that I have the max unity setting as its maximum barrel setting. And now that has to just be applied to the second barrel that I've created. I'll do that. And so now when I play, I shouldn't hear any birds. It's set to none right now. I only hear that horrible pterodactyl and the wind and the beach, which is what I expect. And that now when I use my barrel, I can dynamically control those birds, exactly what I want. If I don't want to use the mouse, which I probably don't want to, what I'll do is I'll take a free pedal here. I'll assign that pedal to the second barrel, and now with my foot I can control those birds coming in and out. Alright, that'll work really well. Let's take that and we'll save that to bird whistler with pedal. And now what I'll do is I'll take care of our pterodactyl. I could use exactly the same process with that pterodactyl. It's open on the volume multiplier. I could put another volume multiplier there, and if I have that other free pedal, I could do that. But let's do something a little different. Let's say I want to use that other pedal for its normal sustain function. What I can do is use my touche to allow me to bring that pterodactyl in and out. So let's give that a shot. What I'll do here is I first need to bring my touche area to where I need it. I have a half continuum. You can see here the half line marking means that's where I'd like to bring my touche in. I could put it anywhere I like, but that's where I'm going to put it here. So let me just drag this thing. I got to be careful because sometimes when I drag, the EaganMatrix can crash. So what I'll do is I'll take it here. Oops. And there, I'll put it where I want it. Right. Now, the touche is really easy to use in the way we're going to do here. Again, I need a spare formula. I'll put that down here. Volume multiplier. Right. I'll set that as a gate because all I care about is whether that touche is pressed. I'll bring the pterodactyl in. When the touche is not pressed, no pterodactyl. All right, so there I set that up to be a gate. The only thing I need to do now is set this to be evaluated with the touche. Now when I play, hopefully I'm not going to hear our pterodactyl. I don't. I only hear wind and beach. Because I haven't brought the birds in. There's my birds. Okay. And if I want to bring my pterodactyls in to come and get those birds, I'll just press the touche area. And there I have them all together. That is an easy way to use 3 presets, have them all coming in dynamically. Well, we didn't have the wind beach come in dynamically. If I wanted to, I could put the 1 pedal on wind beach, 1 pedal on bird whistler, put the touche on the pterodactyl, and then I could totally control dynamically how I bring all 3 of these presets in as a combination. All well and good. Combination mode is really great if you have an expanded continuum. And now if you don't, you're probably saying, boy, I really need one. But if you don't have expanded continuum, there are other ways to combine presets, and that's what we'll talk about now. So let's say you do not have an expanded continuum and you want to combine presets. It just so happens that the one we have here with wind beach, it's a pretty simple preset, not much going on. The bird whistler, not much going on there either. So these two are likely candidates that could be combined into one preset without using the combination mode. So let's get rid of the combination mode. Let's just go to group and we'll activate it again, which gets rid of it. I don't care about my pterodactyl anymore. I only care about my wind beach. And let's put back our original bird whistler. All right. So there are the two presets as you can find them in the preset listings. Now I want to bring in one preset and actually copy the whole preset into another preset. This can be done with presets that, again, are pretty sparse, where number one, you have enough formulas available to recreate the first preset into the second. You also need to make sure that the presets themselves are not taking up enough resources so that when you combine them, they won't work. Now, you probably won't know that until you actually combine them. And even if you do combine them and you start having problems, you can sometimes just reduce polyphony to the point where they'll still work together and you won't have any issues. So the first thing we need to do is decide, right, which preset do we copy into the other. And obviously, you're going to want to copy the preset that has the least amount of stuff in it, probably into the other one. Both the least amount of stuff and also the least complex. Now, one thing you have to worry about when you're copying entire presets to each other is you're not just copying formulas, you're copying groups of formulas, and very often formulas depend on other formulas. And when you're copying things in, you got to be very careful, because some of them, for example, I know Wind Beach uses a blend function to allow me to start with a persistence of 0, you see here. Let's turn on our display for this one. I don't have any reverb there, and when I bring this release to long, it basically uses the blend function. Okay, so that when I go to D, this is blended with D, and you can see that, oops, the blend has full persistence, and you can hear how long it took for that to die away. So persistence can be used kind of like a reverb of sorts, and very useful. I guess a lot of you probably don't use persistence that much, but it took me a long time to actually even figure out what I'm going to do with that or what that does. But Wind Beach is a very easy preset for you to see what persistence is doing. So if I copy this over, I also have to make sure that I not only copy the formulas that I see, I have to make sure that my blend is copied correctly. If I do this, I have to make sure if there's an ancillary formula set up that's copied. I can see here the way this is working that both B, D, and E all are related to each other. So all of these interrelationships, they all have to get copied. Probably Wind Beach is not the one I want to copy. Bird Whistler, I can see here, if I just click off my formulas, I don't see any formula here that's really dependent on another one. So this one is almost certainly going to be the easier one to copy into the other. So now what do? I got to go to my Wind Beach. This is going to be my base preset. It has plenty of extra formulas. It only uses formula up to E. Bird Whistler only uses a few formulas. So I know I'm not going to have any issues copying these into one preset. And likely these two don't use that many resources. They're probably going to work fine. I know that I can create a sine spray with something going on in another bank B here. That's pretty much what I'm doing in this case. So now comes the tedious part. I have to be very careful about copying my formulas from one preset to another. Now, of course, what you'll see here is that in Wind Beach I use formulas A to E. In Bird Whistler I use formulas pretty much A to F. So I'm not going to be able to use the same formulas. I'm going to have to allocate new ones. Right? First thing I'll do is I'll just pick a formula that I know in Bird Whistler I want to copy in. Let's take the shape generator first. So I'm going to add the shape generator to Wind Beach. What I'll do to make it easier for myself is I'll make a screenshot, and copy that to some kind of paint program or something that I can easily snip off. And let's just copy that in. And so now I know that I'm working on Formula B. I can put that above here. In Wind Beach now, I'm going to want to copy that Formula B in. All right, I'll keep that here for myself. But the problem is going to be that I need to use some other formula. So let's take F here, and what I'll do is I'll copy F W here instead of my BW that was in the original. All right, I'll bring back my thing. For B is going to have to be original B, so my new F is going to have to be set to 4 constant as W. So I'll go in here and I'll set, got to go to 10, set that to 4. All right. Okay. Now I want to set X. Unfortunately, this one uses everything. X is in octave mode, going -3 to the midpoint and then 0. Okay. So I'm going to set this to octave mode. All right. And I'll have to again set this to tens so I can go down to -3. There we go. Now I need Y going 0 to 5.2 in that shape. So Y will go 0. I need to go tens again here to 5.2. Oops, there we go. And finally, Z is just a linear motion from 0 to 5. So I'll go in this one again. I got to go into tens mode. I'll bring that to 5. And I'll set that linear. Finally, I have to double check my formula against the original. And I see here that I need to multiply W times X plus Y plus Z. So I'll set that up to the correct values there. And now I should be okay on F. F is now set. I don't want to go away from this without saving it, or I'll lose it. So I'll go in and I will save to disk my Wind Beach in progress. Right? Or I can maybe even call it Wind Beach with birds. Right? And I know I have that set now. All right. So what I'll do is then go and copy what I had in here, and now I have my shape generator set. It's time to copy in the next formula from Bird Whistler, and I have to basically just do the same thing. Go look at it. I'll make a snapshot of it so I can know what I'm copying. I'll go copy that into my ongoing preset, and when I'm all done, I should have both of them copied into the same preset. So let me quickly do that, and I'll be right back. So I'm back, and I've copied everything from Bird Whistler, including the barrel, into Wind Beach. Now, of course, the barrel that was barrel 1 in Bird Whistler, I had to reassign that as barrel 2 in this preset since barrel 1's already being used. And now I have my birds and my Wind and Beach combined into one preset. The only thing I might want to do, similar to what I did in the combination version, is take this fixed output and create a direct output using a formula instead of this constant. So I'll take a formula, I'll apply it as my output. I know this is going to want a max of 0.5, so I'll set that to 0.5. I'll add my new barrel like I did before, equals bird volume, and I'll set that to 4. Now I'll go back in here. I'll assign that to my third barrel now. I'll go to my pedal and I want to assign that to the third pedal. Let's see if that's working. It is. Now I should be able to have wind beat and cut those birds in. As I need them. So there you go, a simple way to combine presets without having a continuum expansion. It'll work as long as you have the appropriate spare resources, enough formulas, and of course you're not overloading your continuum.